At this point, honestly, guys, I just don't know how they're doing this every single week. Like, this is probably the best episode yet. And I feel like I am like somebody who's just stuck on repeat. I feel like I'm a CD stuck on repeat and I just keep skipping and keep saying, like, it's the best. It's the best. But seriously, like, this week's episode was probably, and it's going to sound funny when I say this, but it was probably the cutest episode yet. And the reason that I say that is not because of like visually or like, oh, it's all fluffy and cute, but literally by the relationship that is growing between Kitagawa, between Marin and between Gojo, right? Like their relationship is moving forward, right? Even if they don't necessarily really think so, we can all recognize it. You and I can recognize it as we're watching the episodes, right? Like we can see like their relationship literally taking steps forward. And a lot of that has to do with their enjoyment of each other's company, what they kind of like their energies that they bring that are perfectly well suited for each other and perfectly matched, the fun that they have together, obviously, and their comfortability level with each other, kind of being around. Now, obviously, Gojo's still a big oaf, he's still uncomfortable in a lot of situations. He's still a young man, he's still a teenager who gets, excited by physical touch and things, as I'm sure we all did at, 15, 16, 17 years old, you know what I mean? Like, a girl touches us a little bit, we're like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, oh, suddenly it's like an awakening, you know what I mean? And we've all been through that, whether you went through that at 12 or you went through that at 18 or whatever, or you're going through it at 30, I don't know, whatever. But like we've all been through that, and we can all kind of sympathize. The men here, we can all kind of sympathize with that. Now, the opposite side of that is you have Kitagawa, right? And with her, it's also that growing up thing too, right? Like with her, obviously she's a little bit more out there. She's a little bit more open, a little bit more free. But at the same time, she puts herself in certain situations to where, like, even though she is headstrong and she is free and she is really outgoing and stuff, there are certain situations, like with her being on top this week and things like that, to where, like, her embarrassment level kind of it goes really high. Her dressing as a succubus and having Gojo like really pick into her details, that makes her really embarrassed. Doing a hairstyle for him makes her really embarrassed, right? So in the sense of, obviously men were really very how do you explain it? We're very I don't want to say dumb, but dumb simple creatures, right? Touch sets us off. Women are a little bit more complicated typically, and I think that Kitagawa represents that really well here in a positive. This is all positive, in a positive light, to where even though she is, out there and she will touch and do things from like a certain standpoint, she puts herself in these embarrassing things to where even herself, she's kind of like realized these moments to where she's pushed herself too hard. Now, obviously, the other thing, too, that takes her up to the next level, right? She would probably get, like, already embarrassed at a certain level, even if it wasn't Gojo. But the fact that she's also in love with Gojo, has a crush on Gojo, things like that, it takes it up to, like, the 10th level, to where she's basically having a panic anxiety attack at some point during the episode as well. And I just love that representation here, because it's just so real. We've all kind of been through it, especially with your first partner in life, right? When you first had that first moment of touch, almost kissed, things like that. Like, it's a real experience that you might forget, but you don't forget. You know what I mean? And I think that that's really special, and I freaking love this anime so much. And the representation wise, like, from all the cosplay stuff and all the thing that's really based in real experiences of realism, so is this kind of stuff too, in really showing us these two young adults' first experiences, with each other, and really representing it really well, and it really caters well onto the screen and stuff. Now, not to take up too much time for that, I love that so much, and I think that's what really sets the anime apart. The other anime that did something similar to this last year was Horimiya, where it really represented, a young adults, relationship with each other, dating and stuff like that, first times, things like that. Obviously, these two here aren't that far yet, and we may not get there by the end of the season. But it still shows like how love really sparks, and I love that. Now let me talk about the episode. So, from that alone, this freaking anime is just fire and awesome. But the episode was awesome as well too. And, you have I just one of the things I love the most, is Kitagawa continues or Mirin, however you guys want to say it, right? I'll keep calling her Kitagawa, but Kitagawa keeps showing Gojo or having him experience a lot of his first, and not just in the sense of what we just talked about, but for the first time going to a manga cafe, reading manga, learning what a succubus is for the first time, right? Going to a love hotel for the first time. In this episode alone, he had like 4 or 5 firsts that he's never experienced before, right? He got to buy, he went to a store and he got to go buy, his outfit looks the same, but he got to buy a summer version of his outfit to keep him cool and stuff, right? So a lot of firsts that he's able to go out and experience, and he's learning about the world, and he's learning about culture. He's learning about the culture. And I love that so much. And, during the manga cafe scene, they get to spend time with each other, and he's getting to get close to her, get close to her. They plan out, what her next cosplay being the succubus is going to end up being. She's not confident in herself because of the hair, and she doesn't think she could pull off that specific hairstyle. Gojo, really backs her and says, like, no, absolutely, this is something that you can pull off. You're going to look cute. You're going to look beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And, that pushes her to that embarrassment level, right? Then we finally have the love, I don't want to spend too much time, but then we have like the love hotel stuff, and I freaking love it, right? And my favorite part of this whole entire scene, obviously, is kind of like that last quarter of that scene. But I love how, again, like I was saying at the front, their relationship is growing so much to where they're comfortable with each other, and that comfortability factor is huge, especially in relationships, right? They're enjoying each other's company. They're enjoying each other's company. They're enjoying each other's company so much that, even Gojo for a while there forgets the fact that, he's extremely embarrassed about being at a love hotel, that he low-key watch PORN on the TV for a little bit, right? He forgets all of that because he gets enveloped in the cosplay and taking pictures and getting Kitagawa in the right scenes, in the right mood to really pull off the pictures that he wants. And at some point, he wants to get the her doing the lullaby scene, and he wasn't able to capture that. And he was like, well, it needs to be top down. So he's like, it's got to be like a top down view that to take the picture that he really wants. And where's the Amber? And he wants Kitagawa to be, up here. He wants to have like a top-down view of this. He wants to have the he wants to have the and he was like, I need you to get on top. Get on top of me, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it like top down. And she's like, yo, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. He's like, perfect. This is exactly what we need. And she does it. She gets on top, and she even warns him like, "Oh, I'm gonna lower my hips now. Basically, I'm gonna, I'm gonna ride the cowboy." And he's like, "It's fine. Go ahead." And he gets the picture, and he's in love with the picture, and I'm in love with that. He's in love with the picture, and it turns out fantastic, and it turns out great. And all of a sudden, they hear some noises from across the room. He finally realizes what this scene has happened, what her being on top in that scene to get that picture, what that means, and he gets excited, and Mini Gojo pulls the people's move, the rock, and he tells her to get off of him, but he grabs her aggressively, and I'm like, who, Gojo? You know what I mean? And then they share that heavy breath moment with each other to where I was like, are they finally gonna kiss? Like they should have, like, anime, damn it. It's like they should have kissed. And then obviously they both get very embarrassed and they walk out, and Gojo is bloodshot eyes because he just shared a moment with her, and hopefully hopefully, I'm hoping, I don't think it will, but I'm hoping this moment finally reciprocated to him that, hey, she might feel the same way that he feels in that romantical sense. And I'm hoping that he finally picked that up because I think that that's kind of what's been stopping it, is because he thinks that, you know, her being out of his league is just an impossibility for her to have any attraction to him. All right, I'm way over the 10-minute mark. I'm so sorry, guys. This episode's awesome. It's amazing. And go for Love Hotels. All right, my friends, I'm going to catch you guys next week. Peace out.